The Tomy and Trackmaster visit the Thomas the Tank Engine, Episode 23, The Legend of Timothy. It was Halloween time on the island of Soda, and all the engines were working very hard. The pumpkin turned into jack-o'-lanterns. The children were getting ready and dressed in their Halloween costumes. And they're all ready for the Halloween's best activities. One night in an October night, Thomas and his friends were busy shunting in the yard later on that night before they went back to Timmy's sheds. They're about to shunt in the last of the chains for the next morning. This makes James cross. I don't know why the town has sent us to shunt here in the yard. Besides, Town has shunt in the yard before. I know he needs help, but Tanner engines do not shunt. Percy rolled his eyes. Oh, James, come on. Not this again. Besides, we heard from you, Gordon, and Henry. Tanner engines do shunt, like Edward. He shunts. Yeah. You do shunt sometimes. I guess so, to James, but still, important Tanner engines like Gordon and Henry do not have to shunt, and also affect their own trains. Well, I don't really know what to say. Come on, Percy, let's go. Then, James had an idea to get the mind off from what he just said earlier. Oh, Thomas, Percy, wait. What is it? They said. Before the two of you go, there's something I'd like to say. What is it? I'd like to tell you a spooky story. A spooky story, said Percy. What's it about? Well, I'm gonna tell you about the story. This is a story before we came to the island of Sodor. Even Edward, even you Thomas, even all the other engines that came before Sodor. A very long time ago, there used to be a tank engine that used to work here. What was the engine's name? Asked Thomas curiously. The engine's name is Timothy. Timothy, said Percy, but there's already an engine named Timothy who works at the China Clay Pits near Edward's branch line and the docks. No, not that Timothy. This Timothy is a little bit different. You see, he looked a lot like Thomas over here, except he was painted silver gray, and he had the number 0 on his side tanks. So what is it about? I'm not liking this story. It looks so boring. Yeah, get to the exciting part already, said Thomas. Don't worry, I will. One night, Timothy was pulling a passenger train. He was taking it on the main line. When it reached the next station, the unthinkable happened. Timothy kept on going. He kept on going. His driver and fireman tried to stop him, but it was no use. They didn't know what was going on. And then they reached the unfinished viaduct. They tried everything to stop, but it was no use. And when they reached the unfinished viaduct, Timothy, his driver, and all the passengers fell down the ravine. And sadly, none of them survived. And what happened to that Timothy, no one knows. And the reason why Timothy did it to this day, Thomas and Percy were shocked about the story. Wow, they said. We never know that one engine could do such a thing. And besides, we supposed to care for our passengers. At least we can go back to Tippet's sheds now. Well, at least we can go back to Tippet's sheds now, they said. And with that, the 3 engines left to go home. But what the engines did not know was that the deepest leader overheard the story, and he had another that wanted the deepest plan to scare the engines. The next morning, Thomas and Edward about to fet the trains for the morning. Thomas have a question for Edward. Hey Edward, asked Thomas curiously. What is it? Asked Edward confused. I need to tell you something. Is there a ghost engine named Timothy the Ghost Engine? Now Edward thought for a moment. For a moment, I have no idea what you're talking about. We already have a Timothy here on Sodor, so I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, Jane told me and Purdy the story about Timothy the Ghost Engine, who looks a lot like me, except he's painted in silver and had a number 0, and that his driver and fireman and all the passengers died when he fell down the ravine. What? How do you know? Like, is there a story about that? I don't know. Maybe James is making it up. I don't know what to say, said Edward. Well, I cannot chit-chat all morning. I have to get this freight train to Farmer McColl's. See you in a little bit, said Edward. And with that, Edward left. And Thomas left with his passenger run. But they didn't know that Diesel had a devious plan. I know what I should do, he said deviously. It's time to scare Thomas the tank engine once and for all, thinking that Timothy is his brother. Later on that evening, Tom was about to do an evening shunting for the evening rush. He was almost done shunting a freight train for James. He just needed to shunt the last 2 of these freight trucks. Now it's time for me to shunt the last of these 2. But what Tom didn't know was that Diesel was hiding away behind these 2 trucks so that he can get Thomas a scare. Okay, said Thomas. Now time to pick up these trucks. He was about to chop away with them when he heard a noise. Ha 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 ha, said Diesel in an evil voice. I am Timothy the Ghost Engine. What? Who's there? Said Thomas. Well, said Diesel, I'm Timothy the Ghost Engine. I'm your long-lost brother, and I'm here to hunt you alive. Come on, let's go to the viaduct together, and we can scrap together as well. Thomas began with becoming very frightened, and also to that as well. I'm the one who, my driver, fireman, all these passengers died. You should do the same. Never! That's not gonna happen to me, said Thomas. Oh! And with that, he rushed away. Diesel had a devious grin on his face. Thomas still didn't know. Farther down the line, Timothy and Boca were coming on the opposite direction. Wow, said Boca. It's a beautiful fall evening, he said in a happy voice. Agreed, said Timothy. It's so nice and calm and relaxing. Can't wait for the winter. But then they heard a noise. Ah! Wait, is that Thomas? And indeed it was. He came down the direction and accidentally crashed into Timothy and Boca. And all 3 engines were derailed, except for the trucks who did not cause any trouble and were still on the rails. Oops. Sorry, Timothy and Boca, said Thomas. Oh, that's okay, said Timothy. No harm done. But, do you ever heard of the story of Timothy the Ghost Engine? What? There's another engine that has the same name as me, said Timothy? Yes and no at the same time. In fact, I haven't seen him yet. Had you seen him, Boco? No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Is it like some kind of ghost fantasy story? No, James told me in person about it last night. Oh, said Timothy. I didn't know that. Just then, Edward came in interview. He saw the mess. Oh no, he said. What happened here, you 3? Thomas explained everything of the story. Not to worry, said Edward. I'll go get some help. And with that, he left to go and get to Topham Hatt and Harvey. Soon, the mess was cleaned up. Thomas, Tomy, and Boko were not badly damaged in the wreck. In the derailment. But they received a little bit of scratches, so they were good. My goodness, said the Topham Hatt. What happened here? I'm sorry, sir, said Thomas. I did not mean to cause this mess. You see, someone said he was turning to be the ghost in it and that he was going to haunt me. Wait, who? Said the Topham Hatt. Timothy, said Timothy. Like, that isn't have the same name as me. Wait, I'm confused. We haven't noticed that Soto is named Timothy? Thomas explained the whole entire story of how Jane told the story, then he told Edward, and then he heard about the end intending that he was going to haunt him. Well, I have to say for one thing for sure, Jane was just making up that story to make it sound feel better, but we need to figure out what caused this, like who said it. Wait a minute, said Edward. I bet it is no good to that Diesel. That this Diesel called that Thomas to derail to his friends. Ugh, I have to agree. Why would Diesel do that? Just then, came into view King Diesel. Hey everyone, said Diesel. Nice weather we're having, isn't it? All the engines each time I give angry glares at him. This Diesel, said the Topham Hatt. Is it true that you tried to pretend to be the ghost hunted and cause Thomas to derail? Diesel tried to lie to get away with it. No I didn't, he said. That was Timothy. What? No, that wasn't me, said Timothy. I was just minding my own business with Boko. That wasn't me. Same here. I was just minding my own business also. Diesel, that was you. You were the one who did it. Now admit it. Agree, said Edward. Diesel, we all know you cannot be trusted. Now admit what you did. Diesel tried to think of another lie to get away with it, but by then, he had nothing to say. Okay, fine. It was me who tried to scare Thomas. I'm very sorry. Well, said Thomas, our apology unaccepted. Diesel, we can't believe what you tried to do to Thomas or tried to scare Timothy. We already have another Timothy right here, and he's not better than that ghost that James make up. Agreed, said Topham Hatt. Diesel, I have a great punishment for you. As a punishment, you're not going to join the Halloween Fest activities or the Christmas activities. What? No Halloween and Christmas for me? But sir, that's not fair. Okay, fine. But what should I do instead? I know what you should do, said Edward. How about you do some work and not cause trouble? We already know what you did. Okay, fine, said Diesel. And with that, he left to go back to the Diesel works. Good riddance, said Thomas. I can't believe he done something like this too far. Agreed, said Boko. At least there are some Diesels that are better than Diesel, like me, Salty, Mavis. Yeah. Yep, we can trust you guys, but some Diesels like him cannot. And with that, the end began to chat away into the night.